Welcome, welcome, fitness friends. Thanks for joining me again for another little edition of The Versus. I'm pretty excited about this one today. Quick little intro for those of you that have not joined me before. I break down, we'll call them items, compare and contrast two different items within three specific subjects, which are very, closely interchangeable here within the health and fitness field. The first one that we're going to break down has to do with nutrition. Okay. Second one we're going to break down is really very, very broad. It's just general health, anything that can relate to that, whether it's emotional, whether it's relating to time, whether it's relating to friends and family. It just kind of intertwines a little bit of everything. And then the final one has to do with exercise, working out, just a general comparison there as well. So that being said, now that you understand what we're going to go through, we'll keep it short and sweet. I'll try not to get too much off on a tangent. Little mention at the top, if you have any more questions that I don't go into on a specific topic or subject, feel free to reach out to me and I can kind of break it down as it may pertain to your specific needs, timetable, your specific situation, all right? So I'll keep it fairly broad, but once again, reach out to me if you have more in-depth questions. So with that being said, let's hop right into it. So this one, listen, is multigrain versus whole grain. So primarily, I guess we're talking about bread. You can relate it to some other starchy carbs such as pasta. But what I've found is you go down the bread aisle, and first of all, it is an aisle I would not suggest you'd go down. Shop the perimeter of the grocery store. So you're probably not going to see breads on around the perimeter of the grocery store. It's probably going to be like the second or third to last aisle before you get to your frozen foods and whatnot. But it's just very confusing, the bread world. There's so many different names that they have. Call it bread confusion. So you mean you got white bread next to the multigrain, next to the whole meal, next to the whole grain, next to the several grain, next to the sprouted, the sourdough, the potato. It's just like, oh my goodness, what should I be getting? Odds are you're going to opt for whatever tastes the best, right? But what is the best for you? So whole grain foods, I'm lumping everything together. I know I'm kind of talking about bread, but it really pertains to anything with food nutrition, is going to be the healthiest choice because it contains more nutrients, fibers, and just other healthy plant compounds that are found naturally in the grain. Okay, what whole grain means is that it contains all parts of the grain kernel. So the bran, the germ, the endosperm. I don't want to get too into that because that you have probably just lost you there and got you confused. But whole grain is going to be your more nutritious option. Multigrain means that the food contains more than one type of grain. It's really all it means. None of them are necessarily whole grains, though. So that's kind of where they get you. They're like, oh, multigrain, that's got to be good. You're diversifying your portfolio. Like, oh, I'm getting them all. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that any of them are whole grain, which is your most nutrient dense of the grains is what you want to look for. Okay. Keep it short and simple with that. We'll move on from that. If you have any more questions, reach out. The next one. So this kind of breaks down just our general health and wellness topic. And everyone runs into this, and especially myself or anyone that is directly working in the fitness field. And I guess I'm more specifically talking about exercise, and exercise that comes in any form, whether it's resistance training, cardiovascular work, whether it's meditation or yoga, or there's many different forms. But whether you're guilty of it or you see it or hear it 100 times a day like I do, everyone says they have no time. Okay, so I'm talking about here is no time versus making time. Okay, now there may be a few people that exclude to this, but very, very, very small. Maybe one or two out of 100 people actually don't have time. These are and sorry, I don't want to really pick on someone or anything, but say you have a single mom who has two infants and an additional two kids and is working two jobs, and also needs to take care of her elderly mom. All right, I understand that you might not have time. Perfectly fine. But however, for the other 99% of us, you have time. And the issue is, and I hate to say this, but it's laziness. And the other fact is just its lack there of knowledge of people thinking, oh, well, if I need to exercise or yoga, I need to block out an hour of my time, whether it's the actual exercise bout's going to take an hour, or you need to shower first and then you need to shower, make yourself look pretty after, you need time for your hair to dry, and et cetera, et cetera. Like, listen, you're just generating excuses for yourself. There's ways that you can move around that, okay? Whether it's, scheduling a different time where you do it, where you just wake up, you do it, you have to shower anyway, so you're not really adding any time onto it. The other part of that is your exercise bout, your yoga, your meditation, it doesn't need to be an hour. Listen, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that's all you need. Wake up, set your alarm, instead of hitting snooze, just don't hit snooze. What is that, 9 minutes? Everyone has a set 9-minute snooze on their phone. Okay, get up. Yeah, right. So people hit snooze 3 to 4 times, which we won't get into that. Not good for you at all. With 3 times 9, boom, you only have a half hour there that you're just lying in bed, not even sleeping. Get up and go for a walk. Cut your shower short by a few minutes. You used to taking a 10 to 15-minute shower. Make it a 8-minute shower. Boom, there's 8 minutes. You can make time. Okay. The excuse of no time, it just really doesn't pertain to really any of us, okay? And one more point I want to make on this, because this is a topic I could go on forever, is let's say you're just nonstop at work, or you're in school doing studies, okay? And you're thinking, all right, I could either study for an hour, or I could go exercise for a half hour and study for a half hour, or do an additional email, whatever it is for that additional half hour. You think, well, I'm losing out on half hour work. Here's the thing, and this is why corporate wellness, which is what majority of you are watching this through, is, we are corporate wellness, health fitness inside of Textron. We are there to increase your work efficiency, your general health and well-being. If you do that half an hour of exercise, the endorphins that are released, I could go on and on. The increased brain capacity, work efficiency of your brain, nutrient flow, blood flow, it's just going to increase the efficiency of your work. So if you do a half-hour exercise, we're increasing everything: cardiovascular health, bone mineral density, muscle strength, forever and ever and ever. You're going to be more efficient in that next half hour of work than you may have even been in that entire hour of not even exercising, okay? It is stress management, relieving stress. Exercise, yoga, meditation, resistance training, whatever it is a natural medicine, okay? It releases dopamine to your brain, which acts as a natural stress reliever. People who have depression, anxiety, ADHD, ADD, all of those are treatable by exercise. I know it because I have majority of those, okay? And I don't take a lick of medication. I just exercise every day. It's what I did a case study on my senior year of college, okay? So I have so much science that backs this up, and you don't have to go far on Google to find out everything that backs it up. But simply just make time. 10 minutes a day is fine. 10 minutes every other day is fine. Anything, we can all find time to just do a little bit of exercise. And the beautiful thing that has transformed through this COVID world is that everything is virtual. You can access everything from your phone, from your TV, from your computer. You don't have to go to a gym. You can do it right in the comfort of your own living room, bedroom, whatever it is. All right, let's end it there. Next one we're going to go to, okay, is our general exercise or workout contrast here. So, and I had to include a picture on this. So it's the overhand grip versus the alternate grip for a deadlift. So you see the top one there, which we call double overhand, or just a pronated grip. So both palms are facing back towards you. And then you have the mixed grip or alternate grip, which is one hand is underhand, one hand is overhand. This is commonly used with deadlifts for 2 major reasons. Safety, because if you drop the bar with double overhand, it's going to come smashing into your shins, whereas if you have a mixed grip, it's probably going to drop straight down. And then the other reason is you're going to be able to lift heavier because you are driving compressive forces each direction at the bar. Now, unless you are directly a power lifter that competes with deadlifts, there's no reason to be doing the mixed grip. The reason being is that when you have such a heavy load on a supinated or underhand grip, Okay, at the very bottom left, you see the underhand grip, so the palm facing us or away from the actual participant. It places a large amount of stress on the bicep muscle group, the bicep tendon, which kind of runs from your bicep up into your armpit shoulder area. Okay, for those of you not familiar with that, especially that long head, which I'm specifically talking about, the glenohumeral joint, okay, which creates a high risk of injury. And this is why you see a lot of bicep tears and pains in a common, power lifter, okay? So really I'm talking about injury prevention here. So yes, you may be able to lift heavier with that mixed alternate grip, but unless you're directly competing in that lift, which I'm guessing is probably zero of you listening, then there's no reason for it. There's higher risk of injury, okay? One quick little comparison I'll make with this, because I get this question so much, and then we'll be done, I swear, is how deep do I squat? Okay, yeah, great. You may have mobility to squat, butt all the way to the ground, but are you an MLB catcher that sits in that bottom position for 3 hours? No. Okay, so then there's no reason to do it because there's higher risk of your hips rotating, or not rotating, but tilting and adding an additional strain and pressure on your lower back. So even though you can go through that larger range of motion, there's no reason to do it. It's just higher risk of injury, and it's not going to relate to your daily life. So this is kind of the whole thing of relate the exercises you do to the functionality that it then translates in your daily life. All right. Short and simple. I just kind of summed up that whole slide right there. All right. So that's our quick little verses. If you have any more questions on any of these slides, or you have any suggestions as what I should do for next week's verses, compare and contrast, maybe you got some burning questions, some myths that you want me to debunk or whatnot, feel free to reach out. All right.